Welcome to T2T Network, and this is New York Giants Corner. Let's go, baby. Let's bring the fandom, and what a great start to the joint practices this week with the Detroit Lions, who I have a lot of respect for. I'm really high on that team. I'm really happy for that team. The way the Lions are being built, the way they're being coached. They're a hard-nosed, physical team. They're strong on both sides of the trenches, and they're building really well. Really impressed with the talent they have over there with Detroit in Detroit, and but I'm really happy how day two of the joint practice went between the Giants and the Lions. I realized for the Giants, first of all, it's practice. Even though it's a joint practice, it's still a practice at the end of the day. I realized yesterday, day one, didn't go well. Daniel Jones was off his mark, 5 for 11, or maybe something worse than that, or whatever. So, but I know he was off yesterday, but I know that's not the type of quarterback he is. I know he's got a reputation amongst fans who don't really know the quarterback of being inaccurate, and that's just not true at all. So it wasn't something I was worried about. And lo and behold, today he comes out firing, guns blazing, the Daniel Jones that I expect. And it looked absolutely fantastic. Obviously, I wasn't there. I caught up. I was working today, so I caught up on what I possibly could in terms of actually the videos that I could see and what I read too. But it sounds like today, day two was really good, so much better, and compared to yesterday, it sounded like it was just a sloppy practice for the Giants yesterday all around on both sides of the ball, but especially the offense and especially Daniel Jones. And what it is. But today apparently was a heck of a lot better, sounded a lot better, and the highlights coming out of those practices were so encouraging. Daniel was laser beaming the ball all over the place. And to, so far, I think besides Darren Waller, like his big weapon so far, this entire, preseason, these entire camps so far, the past 2 weeks, has been Darius Slayton. I know a lot of focus is on Jalen Hyatt, and rightfully so. We should be. Jalen Hyatt's been doing really well. We should be happy and very encouraged about his development. I will still just caveat that, remember, he is a rookie, so we'll see how it goes when the season's in full effect, and when he's out in the field. And don't necessarily expect Justin Jefferson rookie season. That's all I'm saying. But I think Jalen Hyatt seems to be coming along really well. He's actually running routes better, faster than I thought he would be. So that was obviously his weakness coming in. It was a knock, and it was a fair knock, just because of what was asked of him to do in Tennessee. But anyway, Jalen Hyatt, really excited about him. But after Darren Waller, Daniel Jones is like number one target this preseason so far. These training camps has been Darius Slayton, and Darius Slayton has been absolutely phenomenal. And he had a great day today as well, along with Daniel Jones. And those two, it's like his partner in crime at this point. Sterling Shepard and Daniel Jones both have a really good rapport with Jones. They've been with Daniel Jones as two of his receivers since he's been a rookie, since his rookie year. And unfortunately for Sterling Shepard, he spent most of that time injured, so and not available. But Darius Slayton has been, and really the one knock against Darius Slayton has been his hands, and he came out of college with that knock as well. But he made it a goal. I forgot the exact term that he used this offseason, what his focus was going to be. Oh, ball stopper. Darius Slayton said that he wanted to be a ball stopper this year. That is no drops. He's known to have. He was kind of like our Evan Ingram of wide receivers. We used to have both of them on the same team, and they're both known for not just drops, but key drops at key moments of the game that could seal the game. Seal the victory for the Giants, and they were both known for that. I felt bad for both of them because I felt like especially ever since we traded OBJ before Daniel Jones's rookie year, that listen, we didn't have a number one wide receiver, so players like Evan Ingram and Darius Slayton, I think they're valuable and I think they're good when Evan Ingram is on the field, but they are going to make mistakes, and those mistakes are going to be blown out of proportion because we don't have anyone else to better to go to. But Darius Slayton, I love Darius Slayton. I was so happy when he stayed with the Giants on what I thought was a totally reasonable contract of like $6 million a year. I'd much rather have Darius Slayton at $6 million a year than say Alan Lazard at $11 million a year. And some of these other wide receivers out there that are more like the other mid-tier wide receivers that are making like 12, $13 million a year. Like say, what's his name? The guy, is it Jacoby Myers? Is that his name? Who left the Patriots? I forgot where he went, but I think he's making like 12, $13 million a year. You have a lot of wide receivers making 12, $13 million a year. And quite frankly, I don't think they're any better than Darius Slayton. And he's $6 million a year. And but I love the connection those two have, the rapport they have on the field. And Darius Slayton's been knocking out of the park this preseason, as has Daniel Jones. But Slayton's been making great catches. Hyatt, deservedly so, has been getting Hyatt and Waller have been getting all the recognition and all the hype, and understandably so. I'm not taking anything away from that. And again, I'm really psyched about Jalen Hyatt, but I'm really psyched about Darius Slayton too. That he may, at this point, like 5 years into his career, maybe kind of like ready to level, to take it to a next level, to level up. And like I said, like he had his fair share of really big plays for the Giants, and he was their best wide receiver last year. You can make an argument that it was Isaiah Hodgins once he came to the Giants the second half of the year. I still think it was Darius Slayton. And Darius Slayton's going to play a very important part for the Giants this season. I'm not even sure. I'm still even unsure how often we're actually going to see Isaiah Hodgins, just because I love Hodges. He's got great hands. He's a savvy route runner. He knows how to find the open spaces in the defense, and he's got great hands. Like I said, I love those type of wide receivers. I do. But the Giants want to go speed, 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 speed. When you've got guys like Waller and at least Slayton is going to be a wide receiver one, as we're going to get to you'll see on the depth chart we're going to get to in a little bit. They're looking to spread the field. Paris Campbell as well. Jalen Hyatt. We'll see how much. Now, I don't think Jalen Hyatt, you're going to see all that much of Jalen Hyatt in the beginning of the season. I think you're going to see him. I think they are still going to take him along fairly slowly, and they'll feed him the ball more and more and more. He'll be out on the field more as the season progresses or as injuries develop. But right now, knock on wood, we're good in the injury department. So knock on wood, we're good in the injury department. But with that depth, if those guys are healthy that we have right now, we don't need to rush Jalen Hyatt. I want to see him. Don't get me wrong. I'm getting really psyched about him. But I think I'm maintaining an even strain more than some other Giants fans. But if you're sending out there as your starters, Darren Waller and Darius Slayton and Paris Campbell, that's going to open up a lot underneath for Saquon Barkley, for Daniel Bellinger, for Daniel Jones if he wants to run. So it's really, 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 really exciting. I think we're gonna. I'm telling you, I really think we're gonna be as I think I said last week, or as I was saying on Twitter a few days ago. I think we're gonna have a top five offense in the NFC. I think we're going to have the second best offense in the NFC East, neck and neck with Dallas. I'm not taking anything away from Dallas at all. I think Dallas is going to have a very good offense like they always do. I think we have a chance. I think we're going to be a little better this year. Assuming everyone stays healthy, I think we're actually going to be a little more explosive. I think we actually may be a little more talented in offense this year than Dallas. And I'm not taking anything away from Dallas. I respect the team. I respect their offense. They're always, a high octane, powerful offense. And I think we actually may be a little better, a little more talented, actually, on our offense, believe it or not, this year, if these guys stay healthy. I don't think we're at Philadelphia's capability, especially with our offensive line. That's incredible. But listen, man, I think our weapons are actually, even though we don't have like wide receiver one on paper, I think we have a lot of good, really good, effective weapons that is that's going to wreak havoc against opposing defenses. So I'm really excited for it today. Day two. Let me bring up Connor Hughes's write up over here. Hang on one second. Let me bring this up over here. All right. Stop screen. Bear with me for one second, guys. Okay, share screen. Uh, Here we go. Let me bring up Connor Hughes' article, and this is on SNY. Okay, so SNY TV. This is from Connor Hughes. Let me just read some of the things he said over here. Let's see. It appears as if Jones simply needed to take one step back to take quite a few more forward because he was lights out on Wednesday. And he's talking about yesterday's poor performance, which, like I said, I wasn't worried about it at all. And he was lights out on Wednesday. That's what Connor Hughes said. Quote from wide out Isaiah Hodgins. He was going crazy, meaning Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones completed just 5 of his 12 passes on Tuesday. He threw for 5 touchdowns on Wednesday. 2 of those scores came when repping drills inside the 10-yard line, red zone work. The third came on the first play of a red zone drill when he rolled out right and saw a wide open Darren Waller. New York's newly minted $160 million man, meaning Daniel Jones, finished 11 for 11. Finished 11 of 11 drills, 12 for 17 passing. He also went 6 of 77. I think he means 6 of 7 in 7 on 7 drills with another 2 scores. It says here, I think that's a typo. It says he went 6 of 77. I think he means he went 6 of 7 in 7 on 7 drills with 2 other scores. Jones's first touchdown was maybe his best, and this is the one I was playing over and over again today. The video clip. It was a laser beam that Daniel Jones threw while he was rolling to his right, and kind of like leaped a little bit, launched, and it was a laser beam to Darius Slayton. This was a beautiful throw and a beautiful catch by Slayton too. Darius Slayton had 2 beautiful catches today. Again, so Jones's first touchdown was maybe his best. He found Darius Slayton over the middle for a 25-yard score. The play design helped, but so too did Jones as he looked off both safeties to free his wideout. A player later, he again connected with Slayton for a score. There's a lot of typos in this article. A play later, he again connected with Slayton for a score, although this one was a better catch than throw. I actually think I saw that. I did see that play. I thought the throw was beautiful, and it was right near the sideline of the end zone, right near the sideline. It was it was a tough catch, but it was beautiful placement because there's really no other place to put the ball. The coverage on Slayton was actually pretty darn good. So I don't know why he's got this caveat there. I disagree with this caveat, saying that although this one was a better catch than throw, Slayton went up over the defender before toe tapping just inside the back corner. I saw that video as well. I don't know where else Daniel Jones is going to put that. And it was very good coverage on Slayton. But yep, again, Slayton went up over the defender before tapping just inside the back corner. Let's see. Anything else in this article I want to here's another thing too. It wasn't, and he goes on to say it wasn't just one player either. Jones spread the love around, and that's something Daniel Jones has always done. Jones spread the love around, completing his 12 passes to 6 different guys. Slayton, who got 3, Hodgins got 3, Campbell 3, Waller 1, Barkley 1, and Bellinger 1. Let's see. Slayton had two touchdowns. Campbell had 2 touchdowns, and Waller scored the other touchdowns. So Slayton, Campbell, and Waller each had 2 touchdowns. But what he just said here in the beginning, it wasn't just one player either. Jones spread the love around, completing his 12 passes to 6 different guys. This is something I love about Daniel Jones is that he's always spread the love around, even when they've had wide receivers coming on off the street to fill in for players who were injured, and it's happened so much throughout his entire career. He's never been afraid to throw the ball to anyone. He never has been. And if the guys are getting open, he throws the ball to them, and he's had to do that anyway because it's not like he's been playing with a clear cut number one or even a clear cut number two wide receiver for for the first 4 years of his career. So he always had to spread the ball around. He was never just focused on one guy. But I love that about Daniel Jones, and that's always been Daniel Jones. It's not something that's new to this preseason at all. So, um, and I heard a lot of good things. Let me get out of this for a second. All right, so you know what? I'm sorry. I thought I brought it up in the stream, the article, but I did not. But anyway, I just read it to you. So stop sharing screen. And let me bring this up over here. Let me get ready for the depth chart talk, even though I'm not going there just yet. Share screen. Do. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm not going to share that just yet. But other good news I heard from players, everyone's been looking really good. The offensive line looked a lot better today. It's obviously Andrew Thomas has been Andrew Thomas. Expect nothing less from that. Right tackle position, my understanding, which is probably the biggest question mark actually right now, especially with Evan Neal, being in concussion protocol, so he's not in Detroit right now. That's fine. Obviously, he's going to be the starting right tackle, but I think apparently Matt Pert has been filling in okay for him. It's been filling in okay. So that's good to see because I'd like to see Matt Pert make the team as a swing tackle. I really, really would. I'm on an island here, but I actually believe I'm not ready to give up on Matt Pert. It's not like in my opinion anyway. We don't have a clear cut swing tackle. There was someone we signed. I forgot what his name was exactly, but kind of like a journeyman guy anyway, where it looked like okay, this is going to be our definite swing tackle. I'm surprised that it looks like he's probably going to lose that job, and Matt Pert is stepping up. Matt Pert, I think the main problem with Matt Pert was crappy coaching under Joe Judge, plus injuries as well. So I've always loved the athleticism and the size of Matt Pert. He needed to stay healthy, and I wanted to see him get good coaching. And I don't think he was getting that under the Joe Judge regime at all. Hardly anyone took a step forward under Joe Judge and that coaching staff, at least on the offensive side of the ball. Hardly anybody. It was horrible to see. It was horrible to see. So Matt Pert, I'm not going to go crazy that he's going to be, the starting right tackle. That's going to be Evan Neal's job. But if Matt Pert can stay healthy, I'm looking forward to him probably taking that swing tackle job, and I'd love to see him take it. I really would, because I think this guy's got more upside than any other of the supposed swing tackle potential they have on this team. So I always liked his potential, love his size, love his athleticism. I want to see Matt Pert, win that job, and I think he can do it. I think he can do it. But God, Evan Neal, you know, let's get healthy, buddy. Come back from that concussion soon. We need you to be the right tackle. We need you to take big steps forward this season. Let's talk about the interior offensive line. I'm going to focus mostly on the offense. This video, and the interior of the offensive line apparently was playing pretty well. Let's start off with JMS, John Michael Schmitz, our second round center of this year's draft. Apparently was playing very, very well, especially on one-on-ones, which is not really one-on-ones, offensive line against defensive line. It's kind of designed almost for like the defensive line to win. It's not easy for an offensive lineman, unless you're a gifted tackle. It's not easy to win one-on-ones. And JMS apparently was dominating on 101s, or at least just doing very, very well. So that's great. I know Detroit's not known for their interior defensive linemen. Their strength is at the edges. I get that. Okay, they're not. This isn't like Washington's interior defensive line we're talking about here, or Philadelphia's. I get it, but I don't care. Not every team. The NFC East is loaded with good defense and good defensive lines. I get it, but we're not just playing NFC East teams. So if we're playing well against mediocre interior defensive linemen, I don't have a problem with that because you're going to go against those, and that's where you can, you get a lot of growth from that as well. You're not just going to get growth from going against elite interior defensive linemen every single week. It's not going to happen anyway. So I was very, very encouraged to hear that JMS, and I'm not surprised, basically dominated in in these practices. That's really, really good. And it's my understanding that Ben Bredesen is looking like the best guard in the camp, and I'm happy to hear about that because it looks like Bredesen had a pretty good year last year. He was the best interior offensive lineman we had last year, and I don't mean that as a joke. Like, well, everyone else stunk anyway. Everyone else did kind of stink, last year on the interior offensive line. Bredesen did not stink. Bredesen was actually decent, and I think this guy is going to have. He's going to take a big step forward this year, and I'm dying to see I'm dying to see Izudu. I don't know if Izudu is going to wind up starting this season, but what I am looking for this offensive line to be from left to right is Andrew Thomas, Josh Izudu at left guard, JMS at center, Ben Bredesen at right guard, and Evan Neal at right tackle. Now we have Mark Liniski at right guard. He's alternating with Ben Bredesen at right guard while Izudu's starting at left guard. That's fine. I don't want to force anything, but honestly, like Bredesen is the best guard that we have right now, and I'd rather see him. I'd rather see him starting and Izudu. I know he's ahead of Izudu. I'd rather see Bredesen starting and Izudu splitting time with Gliniski. But I guess the thinking is the long term thinking definitely is that they want Izudu to play a left guard, and so they're putting him there where Bredesen played last year, and I think they do want Bredesen to eventually take over at right guard, but Gliniski, whatever his name is, has the experience there. He's not horrible. He's certainly not great. You can definitely use improvement at right guard over Glanowski or Gliniski, whatever his name is. But he's okay. He's serviceable. He's okay. So maybe the thinking is, I assume, at the right guard position, okay, the plan is to eventually have Bredesen take that position over, and maybe he will start week 1 of the regular season. But they're not going to rush it either. So I'm cool with that. I don't want to rush it. I don't. But eventually, at some point this season, and the sooner the better, and hopefully these guys are ready. I want to see Izudu at left guard. Obviously, JMS at center. He is the starting center. There's no question about that. And Ben Bredesen at right guard. That is my ideal alignment, and I'm dying to see that. Defensive side of the ball. Apparently, defense was sloppy last week. Apparently, much better. Not last week. Yesterday. Apparently, the defensive side of the ball was much better too. Bobby Okereke, our new free agent linebacker, was having. I think he had 2 really good practices, but especially today. Our second-year linebacker, what's his name? I'm forgetting. Not Beavers, because I'm focused on Beavers myself, but I forgot. Guy we took, I think, in the 5th round last year. Played quite a bit last year. I'm forgetting his name, but the other linebacker we took last year, not Beavers. Like I said, I'm just focused on Beavers. I was hoping he'd win this job, but apparently the other second-year linebacker had a really, really good game. Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams playing really, really well. It sounds like the edges are kind of like Aziz Ojolari and Kayvon Thibodeau are playing like, they're playing okay. I saw that Thibodeau had some really nice plays today, but it's nothing sexy going on there. And it sounds like the secondary had a much better job, did a very good job today. They didn't do well yesterday, but apparently they did very well. They did very, very well today. I haven't had a chance to read up too much on the defensive side of the ball for today, so forgive me. I am going to read up more after the episode, but just busy day with work. Just wasn't able to do it. I was only able to really catch up on the offensive side of the ball, but I'm really, really encouraged by these camps, by this joint practice, I should say, with the Detroit Lions. So really cool. I'm hearing the things I kind of want to hear, and most importantly to me is injury free. Oh, I shouldn't say it. I'm jinxing myself. Injury free. Let's get out of everything, out of the preseason, out of the joint practices, everything. Get out injury free. Knock on wood, just in case. All right, so let's pivot now to the unofficial depth chart that was released either yesterday or the day before by the Giants, and I'm going to share screen over here, and let me check out the comment we got over here. Shay, my man Shay, our host of Ramsaholic, our LA Rams show. Ramsaholic Shay's in the house. How's it going, Shay? That's right. Dimes season it is, Shay. All right, Dimes. Shay is a believer in the Dimesinator, just like I am. I love it. I love it. So let's go to the depth chart. Let me blow this up over here, or at least let me get it. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And let me bring this full screen. Okay, here we go. So, all right. So this is what I want to see. This is the unofficial depth chart. The official will come out right before the beginning of the season, I believe, of the regular season. This is what I wanted to see. I love it. Okay, first of all, I strongly believe we're going to carry 7 wide receivers. And we're not talking Wandale Robinson right now because he's on the pup. And I know Brian Dable said just the other day that said something to the effect of don't be surprised if Robinson's back a lot sooner than others. I hope he's not Wandale Robinson. I hope he's basically on the PUP for this entire season. Only reason being is that even when he comes back from this torn ACL, even if he's healthy enough to be on the field, I don't think he's going to look like Wandale Robinson that we want to see anyway. That's how it usually works with a torn ACL. It usually takes, yeah, it takes quite a bit of time to get your knee repaired and healthy so it can go on the field. But also, it takes like a full season before you're actually even back to being the type of player you were. Saquon Barkley was a perfect example. 2020 tears his ACL. Um, Takes like I don't know 8 months or whatever to get back on the field. He's ready week 1 of 2021. He was never the same running back. He was never the same Saquon Barkley that we knew that entire year of 2021. Never the same player. And that's the norm. That is the norm. You do get some players once in a while, like Adrian Peterson back in the day, comes to mind, where all of a sudden they're the same player back from the ACL, from the torn ACL immediately. That is not the norm. That's the exception. So I don't want to see Wandale Robinson because he's small, being out there, not being who he is, and and getting smashed when he can't be the player that he is that we need him to be. So he's on the PUP. I hope he stays on PUP for a while because I just want him to get back to being the player that I believe he can be. And that's going to take, I think, a lot more time. This is the depth chart right now, and this is what I wanted to see. On the outside, Isaiah Hodgins and Darius Slayton, backed up by Jalen Hyatt and Sterling Shepard. It's funny, most people think that Sterling Shepard is a slot. Sterling Shepard ideally would be a slot, but the Giants have been so lacking in wide receiver for so long that Sterling Shepard has had to mostly play outside for the Giants. He's done a very good job everywhere, outside, inside, it doesn't matter. Ideally, Sterling should be a slot wide receiver, but if that past few years he's actually taken many more reps at outside wide receiver than the slot out of necessity. So starting wide receivers on the outside, Isaiah Hodgins and Darius Slayton. Starting slot wide receiver, Paris Campbell. Backup outside wide receivers, Jalen Hyatt and Sterling Shepard. Backup slot receiver, Cole Beasley. That's 6 wide receivers right there. Again, with Robinson on the pup, that's 6 wide receivers right there. Hodgins and Slayton and Paris Campbell. Jalen Hyatt, Sterling Shepard, Cole Beasley. Now, the rest of the wide receivers fighting for these spots are I don't think Bryce Ford Wheaton is. I think he'll be going. I don't think he's going to make the starting 54-man roster or whatever it is. I think he'll be going to the practice squad. Jaden Mickens, he'll be gone. Khalil Pimpton, he'll probably be on the practice squad. So in my mind, it's really between Colin Johnson, Jamison Crowder, and David Sills. I don't think David Sills is going to make it. I really think it's going to be between Jamison Crowder and Colin Johnson. Jamison Crowder could make it because of his ability to play either kick or punt return. I believe what his skill set is. He could, and I wouldn't be surprised. I'm personally pulling for Colin Johnson. Colin Johnson is something like 6'5", and he kind of has like some Plaxico burst in him. This guy's got athleticism. He's 6'5", good hands. He plays kind of like Plaxico, where he's both big and athletic. Um, and he's got good hands. Colin Johnson was looking like the best wide receiver in last year's preseason before he tore his ACL. That doesn't really mean much. David Sills also looks phenomenal every single preseason, and then when he goes on the field in the regular season, he's not so phenomenal. So I get it. Jamison Crowder is a proven quantity, and that's who they'll probably go with. But I'm pulling for Colin Johnson. Okay, let's look at the offensive line depth here. Right tackle, Evan Neal, right guard Mark Leniski, who I mentioned before, center JMS, left guard Ben Bredesen, and left tackle Andrew Thomas. So, all right, so you've got Ben Bredesen. You've got Ben Bredesen. They've got Ben Bredesen listed as the starting left guard, and they've got Josh Izudu listed as the starting as the backup right guard. That's interesting because it's been my understanding all along they want Izudu to take that spot at the left guard at left guard, and they've had Ben Bredesen splitting right guard reps with Mike with Mark Leniski over the past few days, including in Detroit. So this is the unofficial depth chart, yes, but it doesn't necessarily match what we've been seeing in these joint practices. And they've got Ben Bredesen splitting reps at center, not splitting reps, but listed as the backup center with JMS. And I'm not surprised by that. So I think that the Giants are probably going to go with 8 offensive linemen. And that's going to be Neal, Gleniski, John Michael Schmitz, Bredesen, Andrew Thomas. So that leaves me with 3 other players to pick. And I'm going with Matt Pert, Josh Izudu, and I think it's going to be Marcus McKeithen. He's listed as like the number 4 option at right tackle right now. But I think Shane Lemieux is probably going to be out. Unfortunately, I like Shane Lemieux. I don't think Tyree Phillips, who I think they signed to be the left tackle, is going to be the swing tackle. Uh, I think it's going to be between Marcus McKeithen, who they drafted last year in like the 6th round, and who they were very, very high on before he also tore his ACL. They were very, very high on McKeithen. I think McKeithen's going to make it over Tyree Phillips, and Matt Pert will be the swing tackle. That's what I think. So I think it's going to be Neal, Gleniski, Schmitz, Bredesen, Thomas, Pert, Izudu, and Marcus McKeithen. That's why I believe are going to be the 8 who make it. And I do think, and I'm pulling for the starters to be week 1, if they're ready. This would be ideal. Again, to be Neal, Bredesen, JMS, Josh Izudu, and Andrew Thomas. Running back depth, they've got Saquon Barkley, Matt Breida as the number 2, not surprised. Gary Brightwell as the 3, ahead of Eric Gray. I'm kind of surprised by that. I thought Eric Gray would be the number 3. But right now they've got Gary Brightwell as the number 3. And they've got listed way down on the chart James Robinson and Jashawn Corbin. I'd like to see some more Jashawn Corbin. I really, really would. I'm not a huge Matt Breida fan, to be honest with you. Gray is definitely making this roster. Breida is probably going to make the roster, and I'm cool with that. I'm not saying he has no value. I've never been a big Matt Breida guy. I'd like to see more Gary Brightwell and Jashawn Corbin. I don't think James Robinson's going to make the team. I'd like to see Gary Brightwell and Jashawn Corbin get more reps to see what they can do. The tight end room, man. Our tight end room is really, really good. You got Darren Waller. Daniel Bellinger is going to play a bigger role in this offense this year than most people realize. Everyone's focused on Darren Waller, rightfully so. But you're going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets where Bellinger, with things opening up underneath because of Waller and Darius Slayton and Paris Campbell and Jalen Hyatt going deep and stretching the field, you're going to see a lot of things open for Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones in his running, but also Daniel Bellinger as well. And Daniel Bellinger, again, another really good young giant who takes this craft seriously, and it really worked out this summer. He was already a strong young guy last year, but the dude looks like, the guy is jacked right now. And he is a savvy young tight end who proved it even last year, his rookie year. He can find those empty spaces in the defense. He can make plenty of tough contested catches, and the guy is a gamer. He's got good hands, is physical, and he is going to be more important than people realize. And I'll tell you right now, Darren Waller does go down with an injury because he has been injury prone over the past few seasons. Let's knock on wood again. If he does go down, if you're in a fantasy football, feel very comfortable taking Daniel Bellinger as kind of like a handcuff to Darren Waller. Daniel Bellinger will be a valuable piece of this offense. Obviously, he's going to be a fantasy dream player, fantasy football dream player. No, but especially with Darren Waller around, but he will get his touchdown opportunities. He will. He will. He's an excellent player for Daniel Jones, and they already have a good connection going. But if Waller goes down, Daniel Bellinger will be a very, very good tight end option for you in fantasy football. And then, of course, the QB depth is Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor, Tommy DeVito. I don't know what they're going to do to Tommy DeVito. I can't assume that he's going to make the team. I assume he's not going to make the team. And if not, do they get someone else in as a QB3? I don't know if Tommy DeVito is going to make this team. But anyway, you got Jones and you got Tyrod Taylor. So on the defensive side of the ball, you know what? I'm not going to go over the defensive side of the ball. Not today. Not today. Maybe next week. This is 35 minutes so far. I kind of want to end it here. Let me stop sharing. Stop sharing that screen. You get exit full screen. I'll cover the defense maybe next week. We're at 35 minutes right now. Let's see. The Ghost of Judah Tribe. Good job beating up on the kittens today. Give them a Kool-Aid check. Well done. You got it, Ghost of Judah Tribe. You got it. Thanks for checking in. I really, really appreciate it. So you know what? I want to keep the video kind of short. I don't want to go too long. Let's just end it here. I'll go over defense maybe next week. I'll talk about them. I will. I'll talk about the unofficial depth chart regarding the defense next week. So I wanted to mostly focus on the offense. I did that, and including my discussion, my recap of the joint practices with Detroit so far. Wanted to focus on the offense, but I will definitely talk more about the defense next week. But anyway, guys, I'm out of here. This is Joe. I hope you have a great week, and let me get my outro video. It's really cool. If you saw the really cool intro video, wait for my really cool new outro video as well. Here we go. I just got to find it over here. I've got so many things to click. Guys, adios. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.